Welcome, Brilliant Minds, to today's video lesson for November 8th. Today we're going to be working on Source 4 on our GD-CAP for Islam Unit 3. You want to make sure that you have your packet out in front of you and you're ready to make sure you choose which claim is best supported by Source 4 and that we are ready to make sure we have a quote to back that up as well. By now you should finish your do now on your Twitter with your college team. And we are going to make sure we have our agenda written in. So let's go back to the front of our binder and make sure we're on today's work. And then you either need to write in for Wednesday that your homework is protests follow President Trump packet due Thursday, which is tomorrow. Or you need to make sure you continue that arrow over so you know that on Thursday you have your homework packet due and there's no school on Friday. Today's shout out goes to Ramon A, because he is not only always trying to advance his own learning, but he also works to try to advance the learning of others around him and is doing a really great job trying to contribute to the Twitter of his college team. Nice job, Ramon. Let's take a look back at our packet and make sure that we're ready to work on Source 4. Remember that Source 4 is the last of these documents that we're going to be looking at. So today we're really completing this page, doing the same steps to try to answer this investigative question. Is the travel ban a reasonable order to protect the U.S., or is it an act of religious discrimination against Muslims? In other words, is a travel ban protecting or discriminating against Americans, or is a travel ban positive or negative for Americans? You may have written this in your own words. Remember, we're thinking about whether this is a necessary and needed protection that Americans should support, or is this a negative discrimination against specific groups that Americans should be against. Once we look at Source 4, we'll decide whether there's better evidence that it is in this box, that it is a protection that Americans should support, or that it's discrimination that Americans should be against, and we'll make sure we find a quote that backs up either of those ideas. Okay. Right now you can go ahead and turn back to Source 4, and we're going to make sure that we start with some of our literacy strategies. So you want to go ahead and write thieves at the top of your page to remember what to do before you start reading, and you want to go ahead and write catch at the other top to remember what we do while we read. So we're going to start by looking at our title, and our title is Statements from Two of the State Attorney Generals Filing Lawsuits Against the Third Version of the Travel Ban. And while I'm looking at this title, I also want to make sure I'm circling any unfamiliar words. So we can circle Attorney General, because we remember this is a government lawyer from our vocabulary review before we started the GD-CAP. I also want to circle the word lawsuit, which means to take action in court against, right? And we see this word against here, the third version of the travel ban. So because I see the word against, that means that they're basically suing Trump because of his travel ban. I'm going to predict that this looks like it might be something that are people who are against the travel ban since they're suing them. Okay, I'm going to keep reading right here, but before I do, I want to look at my headings. So I'm going to go back to my thieves and look at my headings, and I see that these are state attorney generals from the state of Hawaii, right, and from the state of California. So one is very close to us, California, obviously, and one is similar to us. It's Hawaii. It's doing something similar, but it's a different state than the one that we live in. So we're going to hear from two different states. So let's begin reading first from about Hawaii. So Hawaii fought the first and second travel bans because they were illegal and unconstitutional efforts to implement the president's Muslim ban. Well, fought is an important word. They fought the travel bans because they were illegal and unconstitutional. This sounds like they are against. So and they think that they're illegal and unconstitutional. And both of these words mean against the law. So if Hawaii is going against it because they believe that it's against the law, to me, that is another something that might be negative. They're kind of against it because they believe it's against the law. Unfortunately, the third travel ban is more of the same, Chin said in a statement. The new ban still discriminates on the basis of nationality. Discriminates, that's an important word because we see that on our front page outline, right? So word discriminates, that's an important clue. And it's on the basis of nationality. So let's talk about nationality. Nationality means what country you are from. It still exceeds the president's legal authority, and it still seeks to implement his Muslim ban. So Muslim ban is important because that means it's discriminating not only on where you're from, but it means it's also discriminating based on your religion. Simply adding an obvious target like North Korea to the list and banning travel by some government officials from Venezuela does nothing to disguise this, Chin said. And unlike the first two versions, Travel Ban 3.0 has no end date. So if they're saying it's discriminating on where you're from and your religion, it sounds to me like it's another negative opinion about the travel ban. Okay, we're going to continue, but now we're going to go to the next heading about California Attorney General Xavier Becerra, March 6, 2017. And let's see what we hear about from California's point of view. So in California's point of view, we hear President Trump's decision to rescind means to remove, his January 27, 2017 travel ban confirms what we all knew. The travel ban was unconstitutional and un-American. Okay, so this is their point of view. It's unconstitutional and un-American. It represents a major victory for the thousands of lawful permanent residents and visa holders in California, as well as all those across our nation who cherish our Constitution, diversity, tolerance, and fairness. So based on what we see here, I think that's a really key detail that we've underlined, right? Making sure we're doing that catch. We're turning to the text. We're highlighting key details. That the travel ban was unconstitutional and un-American. I want you to decide whether you think that is a positive or a negative opinion about the travel ban. When you've made your decision, we can move on to the second paragraph. My team is carefully reviewing the legality of the administration's revised ban. We will do everything in our power to make sure the revised ban respects our Constitution and our way of life. No one will or should soon forget the Trump administration's multiple public promises to ban Muslims from the country. So we should write here, multiple public promises to ban Muslims from the country. And this is another key detail we're going to write. And based on the fact that Xavier Becerra, the Attorney General for California, is bringing up that Trump multiple times and publicly, like we saw, so just like we saw in source 1, we saw all of his comments and tweets that talked about a Muslim ban prior to being president. So because of that, we want to make sure we decide whether we think this person, the Attorney General for California, has a negative or positive opinion about Trump's travel ban. Does he think it's discriminating or does he think it's protecting? After you have filled in this annotation, you want to go ahead and make sure we're working on capturing that main idea. So we're going to take our main idea notes. Make sure that you know these are not a quote because they are our notes and our quotes have to be in the words of the document itself. And our main idea notes, we can say that we think the main idea has to be something about these highlighted details that we've underlined. So what do we have as our clues about what is the main idea? Well, it's got to be something about these lawsuits against the ban. It's got to be something about maybe it being against the law, about it discriminating from where you're from and their religions. Here we say again, it's against Muslims. So let's say that our main idea is something about Trump's travel ban is against the laws the U.S. because I think I see something about religion, so I'm going to say because it unfairly treats Muslims because of their religion. Okay, so if this is our main idea, we want to add another annotation saying, do we think that this main idea is something positive or negative of the travel ban? Is it saying something that is about protecting the United States, or is it saying something about discrimination? Once you've finished taking your notes and annotating your positives and negatives, you can then use your notes to decide, is this entire document more about protecting the U.S., or is this more about discriminating? Is this more about something positive or more about something negative? Is this from the point of view of someone who supports the ban or someone who is against the ban? And when you have those ideas clear, you want to come to source 4 and choose whether you think it's about protection or discrimination, and then go back and find a quote from the document. So you're going to come back and find something from this section here that they have said, that they've typed and that we've underlined, that we can add as evidence of that. If you want to make sure you're achieving not just your highest class or grade today, but also you're getting a candy award, you can go ahead and write down in either margin, left or right, what is your favorite candy. I hope you're very proud of the work you did today.